Doom Patrol is the only show that I can think of right now where one of the story beats is going to be a giant cockroach and a giant rat making out with each other while there are people trapped inside of their bellies, right? That's what Doom Patrol is, you know, and this episode definitely highlighted that. I feel like this episode pretty much encapsulated everything that Doom Patrol is so far, both good and bad. Um, I like that we got an ending where the team was more of a coherent fighting unit. We've seen that before in the episode where they busted into the ant farm. We got more of that here, and I like that. I like seeing superheroes that are competent and able to work together. This is a team of people who could easily be written just as huge losers, bumbling losers all the time, who are completely ineffectual. Thankfully, the show doesn't do that. It does show them in times of competency. I don't think they should win every battle. I mean, that would be boring, but I do like it when they at least seem like people who can get things done when they want to. And this episode did that. But I do think that, and on the good side, you know, there was that, and, you know, the characters, character development, the acting and the writing for these characters is good. But I do feel like for a season finale episode with the final fight, sort of, there was no really like traditional showdown that we would expect. There was, I mean, people were fighting and blasting, but I did feel like this episode was strangely kind of slow at times, which is kind of indicative of this entire season. I think that Doom Patrol, while it has good writing and good characters, good actors, you know, playing these characters, it does kind of, can be meandering and a bit slowly paced at times when I think they need to pick it up. And this episode, I thought that it was kind of slow at times. Still enjoyable, but that's just, you know, one of the faults of this show that I'll just have to come to accept. That's me. A lot of people rave about this show, and understandably so. But while I enjoy it, I don't really go over the moon over it, because at times I think it is a bit slow and needs to get to the point. But I'm wondering if sometimes the writers don't exactly know what the point is in these episodes. And, you know, sometimes they just put in weird, surreal stuff, which is appropriate because the Doom Patrol is, you know, the source material does go to the weird and the strange. I feel like they think that by putting in all this weird stuff, that will distract us and we forget the fact that the pacing is slow, right? Like the plot isn't always tight, or the execution of the plot isn't always tight, but, you know, there's a giant cockroach and a giant, you know, rat making out on like a genderqueer street, you know, but then the show's still slow. But still, you know, that's that. I do like in this episode, I like that we finally, it was unexpected, it threw me for a loop. And I think a lot of other people would have expected this to be the final showdown with Mr. Nobody, but it was not exactly. I mean, they went into Danny's street to expecting to fight him, but found out that he was trapped in the street and they've got to fight. The villains are the giant cockroach and the giant rat, you know, the animal, the Brotherhood of Evil Animals, or what did he call those? The Brotherhood of Animals, I think, is what Mr. Nobody was calling this assemblage that he's put together on the street, because they'd gone rogue. Dorothy, the chief's daughter, with her. In the comics, the character of Dorothy has the power to, I think, make anything she imagines comes true, which does make her incredibly powerful. She made them big. Why she did that, I don't think they necessarily I don't think they made that clear. I think she might have just done it. And they've gone rogue, and then Doom Patrol has to fight them and get out of there. And I like the fact that they were competent and that they were able to find a plan to go inside the bodies. You know, Larry sent his negative spirit out to tear a fabric in, you know, the barrier, which led all this energy. They went inside the cockroach to protect themselves, and then they were able to get out. I like that they were not portrayed as bumbling losers, as I said. I like the competency of these heroes. And I thought it was very interesting how, although the character of Dorothy, I think the spirit of her will be intact, they've changed her origin. She has nothing to do with the Chief. She's not his daughter, not that I know of in any comics I've read. Her parents were some other people. But the show, I think they're trying to like weave everything together to make it tighter. One of the rare instances of tightness in Doom Patrol. I like how they're tying people's origins to each other to make things smoother. That's one thing I'll give the writers credit for by making coherent. They found a way to weave her origin with the Chief, and the Chief's origin as a member of the ant farm with the reason why he like messed up, linked to why he messed up each of their lives. His ant farm research, he was using that as a cover, you know, to like hurt Larry and Cliff and Rita and stuff. But it's all a double for, you know, his real personal reason is to be able to use them as experiments so he can be immortal and take care of his daughter after, as long as he needs to, because his daughter's special, as we know. All that stuff I've mentioned, that's not how it goes down in the comics. The ant farm and the chief and him messing with the Doom Patrol and Dorothy are three separate things that don't have anything to do with each other. But the writers put them together, I think, just for tightness and coherence. And I give them credit for that. If only they could put that tightness and coherence in the plotting of the show, I think Doom Patrol would be a much stronger, impactful show. I mean, the pacing would be faster and it'd be stronger, basically. They didn't show Dorothy's face because I don't think they've hired an actress to play Dorothy yet. Dorothy in the comics, she has, I don't know what the term is for the condition she has, but her face is very, very different, very misshapen. She looks, I think, like an ape or something. That's the best way to describe it. And I apologize if I'm offending anybody, but she's drawn to look kind of like an ape, even though she's a little girl. And I forget, there's a condition for that, I think. But I think they're going to have to cast an actress who looks like that, or they're going to have to find an actress and put some kind of a mask on her, and they haven't done that yet, because Dorothy's going to be a Season 2 character, obviously. But, all in all, I think this episode was solid, a solid finish to the whole season. But again, it did exemplify, it had the same problems that the season has had throughout, and that it had some cool moments, but in between, I felt, it kind of moved at too slow of a pace. I'm surprised we didn't get to see Flex Mentallo here. I'm sure he'll be back for Season 2. I would like for him to be a full-fledged member of the Doom Patrol. And I hope they do make him that Season 2, but we didn't see him at all here. Where'd he go? He, flexed his muscle to put him into the white space, and it's like, he's gone. I mean, I would think that he would have played a part in the final confrontation or final adventure, but he didn't. So I hope he does return, since Flex is, a member of the Doom Patrol in the comics. But we've seen the team. Their characters, although they still have issues, they've developed well enough where I think they're a bit more comfortable in their own scarred skin, so to speak, and in some places, some situations, literally, in Larry's case and Rita's case, well, they'll become more like superheroes rather than just, misfits who kind of regular people with superpowers that hurt them, because they're already starting to behave more like their comics counterparts. Rita, when she approaches the giant rat or cockroach, she's proactive and she just goes for it and she has a plan. She also is kind of like manipulating Mr. Nobody into narrating the episode to kind of help the team and get them out of there, right? She's taking agency and not being someone who wants to hide in the corner like she was when they fought the Cult of the Unwritten Book, when she chickened out. Larry, he's worked with his negative spirit where he can summon it and release it and have for a certain amount of time and come back into him. Same way that Larry does that in the comics. He's more proactive and he has more control over his spirit. Those are two examples. But all in all, the Doom Patrol is coming together more as a team. And I like that. And I'm glad that now that they've gotten here, they've crossed that hurdle. In future, like in the later season, we can see them functioning as more of a superhero team. I'm sure they'll still be dysfunctional with their issues. But, I feel the show, for the most part, has done a good job of setting them up as superheroes and not just people who have powers and don't know what to do with them. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like it on YouTube and subscribe to the channel because I appreciate your viewership, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.